All right. Excuse me. I haven't had any coffee. And I just realized I can feel it in my voice. But anyway, we are in here. We are in here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the routine. Make sure you hit the like button before we even get things started. Whether you're catching it live or you're catching it after it's uploaded, make sure you hit the like button. We're going to be exploring a concept. If Black men need therapy, it's mostly because of Black women. Yeah, I know the ever controversial Hood Conservative came up with that title and that topic, and we're going to be exploring that, going to be digging into that. SKC is already preemptively saying, I wonder if Hood and I will agree on this one. Should be interesting. So we're about to be getting into that. Got a number of things on the table. One quick thing, the night shows, even though I got something blocking that right there. The night shows, the schedule for the night shows, because I'm going to be doing shows every night. Y'all know, y'all seen them, the ones when LAR Man Bun Mike, Game Changer, we're going to bringing in the girls and debating and talking shit and all that. You know, is those shows will be typically they will be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:45 p.m. EST. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:45 p.m. EST. But next week they're going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:45 p.m. EST. Those will be the night shows. Be aware of the night show schedule. But either way it go, be that as it may, let's strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right. What is up? What's up, everybody? Still have not had my coffee yet, but shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things started. Shout out to SKC, wondering if he'll agree with Hood on this one. XL Pro in the building, Domino King. Hood service called me on the CP time. And as RM says right there, on your way in the building, hit the like button on your way in the building. Shout out to John Thomas. Shout out to Free Zone Lou. Shout out to TD Hutch. Shout out to Lando Calrissian. Shout out to David Olerking. Shout out to Lando. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. Shout out to Code Steel. Code Steel says Black men need therapy to help them be more confident, bold, and thick-skinned. We're gonna get into that. Yeah, we're gonna damn near start with that one. That's the first question I'm asking Hood Conservative. Will therapy make black men more? What did he say? Need therapy to help them be more confident, bold, and thick-skinned. Yeah, we'll explore that one. So without further ado, bringing up the man of the hour, Hood Conservative in the building. What's going on? Mic check. You there?
Mic check, mic check. Good morning, good
Yeah,
morning. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
yeah. So yeah,
That
go
question.
ahead. All right.
Yeah, that question. I remember bringing this up on your show at some point in the past. Just my disdain for therapy and this whole field. You know, I'm not sure that it's completely evil, but I think it's mostly bullshit. And so to answer that statement, black men need therapy to help them be more confident, bold, and thick-skinned. When you think of the people who actually have, like, let's say a person says, I've been going to therapy for the last 5, 6 years. Do you associate that person with boldness and thick-skinnedness? Like being thick-skinned? I guess I said that all goofy, but still, do you associate that with somebody who's
Hey,
thick-skinned? Like, yeah.
real quick. It sound like you need to turn the gain down or something. It's like it ain't the normal one. It's something else going on. This not the normal one. It's just like you sound good. It just sounds like it's just a little. And I don't know why I didn't sound like this in the back. Probably because I didn't have it. I don't know why I didn't sound like this in the back. But go ahead and speak. See if it sounds a little better.
Give me 2 minutes. Let me reset. Let me get my different headset or something. Hold on.
Yeah. It does sound a bit weird, but to the point that he made, the people come out of therapy. Yeah, you don't hear people coming out of therapy talking about how thick their skin is now. Like you typically don't get that from therapy. That's typically not how it works. So that is an interesting take on it. I think therapy does help. Me and Hood Conservative may have some disagreement on that. I think therapy does help you uh, deal with, or I would say process some things that you got thoughts circulating in your own head. It gets you out of your own head. It gets you talking about it. You know, so I think there's some value in that. I think there's some value in that. At least I've heard people say that. But I think one of the things, and we're running into this is what we're running into. We're running into a whole field of therapy that's one is female dominated. And that's got to throw that out there. It's female dominated.
Sound better now?
They much better. The whole industry of therapy, female dominated. They don't think or speak man. So whatever help that a man is getting, you know, I question some aspects of it. I do question some aspects of it, but I do think there's some value in it. But I don't think therapy builds thick skin. I don't know if it's doing that. I can't go that far. So I believe it's some value, but thick skin, I don't know if that's one of those values. Thick skin is something you get when you go through something, you overcome it, you defeat it, you knock down that wall, and then when other stuff come at you later in life, you're more resilient, you're more ready for it.
I
Therapy is
mean,
what
I
happens when
don't.
you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I don't think it's even designed to give you thick skin. Like, think about the concept of it, right? For men, the whole idea of like stoicism, that what do the Brits call it? Keeping a stiff upper lip. You know what I mean? That whole
Yeah.
idea of keeping your game face on, even when you're about to get crushed, you still keep your game face on. That is something that comes from the idea of not getting in touch with your emotional side, right? That comes from keeping your emotions bottled up. I'm 100% devoted to the mission. However I feel, my fears, my wants, my insecurities, none of that matters. all I have to do is perform and win, even if I die. That's been the traditional masculine um, answer to pretty much everything in life, right? And then this modern concept of therapy comes along, and it's like, no, 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 you should cry. You're gonna die anyway. You may as well cry. And I think the whole point of it is to take away from the natural urge to be stoic in the face of all troubles. And that's one of my main takeaways, my main criticisms of the whole industry of therapy. Getting in from the male perspective, getting in touch with your feelings brings you closer to death. It just does.
Wow. um All right, before we get further into it, it was something you saw something going on with your channel. You had moved a lot of content to your other channel, and you got like a backup channel. And you're doing something with that. Go ahead and explain what's
Yeah.
going on there while I step aside and grab some coffee and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So go
So
ahead, you got it.
I've been if you guys been listening to my main channel for a while, you know I've been on a quest to get shekels from YouTube. So I'm getting like that whole monetization review thing going on. And so while they're deciding whether or not I deserve YouTube shekels, I got a strike on my main channel and my backup channel at the same damn time. That's why I haven't been streaming at all this week. And so while I'm on my little punishment, I decided to do some self-reflecting and get my channels together. And I'm pretty much going to leave the main channel as it is, but I totally revamped my backup channel. I dumped a lot of my content, and I used to do a recurring theme called This Week in Oppression, and it was basically like a weekly takedown of a lot of whatever just came up during this week in the field of like racial oppression, like the hoaxes, just whatever stuff comes up that black folk were complaining about. I used to kind of go in on that every week, and I'm gonna bring that back as the entirety of the channel. And the whole channel is gonna be This Week in Oppression. So if you actually subscribe to my backup channel, it's now called This Week in Oppression with the Hood Conservative. We're going to bring that whole series back and make the whole channel dedicated to that series. I'm going to probably expand the topic slightly to cover issues of just diversity, period. But the same theme is going to go. And that's what we're doing on the backup channel. This Week in Oppression is going to be its own full-fledged channel. Oppression every Sunday night. That's all we're doing. Sunday night oppression stream. And we're going to go in like that, and we're going to see what it does. And like I said, I'm still on a quest to get some YouTube shekels, and I want to kind of streamline what I do because I don't have as much time as I used to have to devote to this whole thing. So I got to focus my efforts to something a little bit more targeted. And that's what I want to do with the channel. So please subscribe. Thank you, RM. Please subscribe to the backup channel, which is now officially titled This Week in Oppression with the Hood Conservative. And every Sunday night, we will be oppression streaming, and I will bring you the latest news and jokes from the world of diversity and oppression. Just like heads up, tomorrow night, we're going to bring the show back in its first rebirth show. And we're going to be talking about the San Francisco reparations deal. Did you know every black person is now going to get like $1 million and a new house? And I think some chicken wings too. I think we're getting chicken wings too. But we're definitely going to get $1 million and a new house in San Francisco. And shout out to reparations. Shout out to the state that never had slaves nor slavery is the first state to give reparations. And also, weird fact, I don't know how this is going to play out. San Francisco is like 50% Asian. So the people who never owned slaves in a state that never had slavery is going to give money to people who were never slaves. And we're going to laugh at that. We're going to have a conversation about that. All right, slavery and chicken, y'all, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I just thought it was like a joke news story, so I just kept it moving. But are people like you said people getting $1 million?
My numbers may be off, but it's somewhere in that general direction. Yeah, it's going to be at least $1 million per.
The people who are the people who are getting it are the people who had what happened to them. I forgot.
Black.
Just black people.
That's what
No, but
happened to him.
no, no, no.
No.
But
That's what
no,
happened to him.
no, it's not for slavery as I understood it. It's for something else.
No, it's for reparations. Look closer, my friend. If you look at the story, that's all they're talking about in San Francisco. The reparations board. They got a whole panel of queens and simps up there trying to get you your money. They bag chasing for real, and all you got to do is be black.
Hey, stay out of their way. don't mess it up over there on your.
What do you mean don't mess it up? I mean, look, I'm nowhere near San Francisco. If I can fuck up your bag, I had no idea my power level was at that point. Like, if I can fuck this up for you, I'm going to have to rethink everything I've been doing with this wasted power I got. So I'm just going to watch and see what happens. I'm waiting for the first white people to discover their blackness. That's really what I'm waiting for. That's who's going to fuck it up.
I was just about to say, when your show, the theme of your channel going to be this week in oppression. I was just thinking to myself, you probably the oppression of white people, what you're going to be covering the weekly rendition of. I in my mind, that's what I saw this week in oppression. I was sitting there thinking, I wonder. Because I don't remember the series, but I was sitting there thinking, I wonder how that's going to play out going from hood conservative this week in oppression. Because somebody's going to see that, and they're going to think it's some SJW woke channel or something like that. But
I know, and they're cool.
Yeah, I know. So I was sitting there thinking, I wonder how that angle is going to hit over there. But
I do cover that particular thing. I've covered that particular thing on my main channel, and it's a very different topic in nature. And so I wouldn't really cover that on This Week in Oppression, because the white oppression thing is just interesting. It really is. And then there's like a whole movement growing to kind of counter the white oppression. You know, shout out to the No White Guilt channel, yo. I'm good over there in the No White Guilt streets. So they know me over there.
I literally just was watching something last night. It was actually Adam 22, and it was like a round table of like four white guys, and Adam 22 was one of them, and he was saying to himself, do we need to really just get up in arms and like work to get people canceled when they just say some disparaging stuff about white people, just to balance it out, to make it to where, you know, just to hold them accountable to the people that try to cancel somebody. If they say anything about gay people, anything about the small hats, anything about the black people, anything about, you know, immigrants, you know, they say anything about anybody, Asians, you know, it's a cancelable offense. So it's like there is a small little uprising of white people saying, you know what, we about to start going off, because it was a big YouTuber who used to he was white, I think, and I think he used to spew a lot of. He used to say, "Yo, it wouldn't be bad if white people got killed or something like that." He used to just say random stuff like that, you know. And I think it was a bunch of white people who put a spotlight on that, and I think they got him deplatformed. I think so. I was watching that late at night when I was half asleep. But so
Did you hear about the town in I want to say Jackson, Mississippi, where it's essentially a town with a black governance or whatever, you know, so mayor, city council, whatever, and there is I guess I don't really know how to describe it perfectly in detail, but the white people who have to be governed by them niggas, they have decided they no longer want to be governed by them niggas, and they basically said your laws aren't valid, and we're going to come up with our own police and our own system because you niggas don't do law properly. So I'm paraphrasing loosely.
Hold on, wait, real quick. Where is this? Where you said white folks
by
niggas?
I want to say Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, so a lot of black people made it to high political office over there, and it's some white pockets of Jackson, Mississippi that fall in their jurisdiction. And so the white people that fall in that jurisdiction are basically saying, no, we ain't being governed by you niggas. That's basically what they're saying, but not in those exact words.
Yeah, mind you, I'm speaking in hyperbole, but not totally, because that's essentially the gist of what's happening here. It's like, look, you niggas don't do
Well,
governance and city management properly, and so we're just gonna take things back. You can run your shit, just you're not gonna fuck up our shit while running your shit at the same time.
wow. I do know that it is actually a thing if you do it correctly, where you can sort of get the government out of your stuff. I mean, there's places in New York. We talked about it on this show. I don't remember exactly what it's called. There's some places where I think the small hats have their own little, place where I think they got their own little structure, their own little police. Now, if there's a murder, then okay, the real government got to come in, but they handle they handle their stuff in house, so to speak. I forgot how it works. Somebody in the chat room, no one can shout out the area, but yeah, no,
Well, no,
that
I know exactly what you mean, because being a New Yorker, every now and then you find yourself in a Jewish neighborhood, and
yeah,
it's a very inclusive. Well, not inclusive is the wrong word. It's a very internalized
it's very
neighborhood, right?
exclusive.
Yeah,
A Jewish
inclusive is
neighborhood,
so not the right
by,
word.
by definition, is exclusive. Let's get that right.
It really is, though. It's such a thing. It's almost like a sundown town in the middle of New York City, bro. It's really wild if you think about it. But what happens is they have their own police, isn't quite the proper word for it, but they have their own security
I
that
was just
is
gonna say,
essentially sanctioned by the police and the state government. And
yeah.
if you go to actually even in New York City now, you have like Muslim patrol, where certain little smaller, much smaller areas have, like, the Muslim cops, because there's probably a mosque or something nearby, and you will see a car that has very similar to NYPD decals going around patrolling that little area. So like it is a thing that people can do, like make their own little fiefdom or whatever you want to call it. I don't claim to know how the power actually works. I'm pretty sure a lot of money gets exchanged at some level.
Yeah, I can imagine that too. But all right, we 22 minutes in, and we veered off. So let's get it. Let's get into the main topic. Let's get into the main topic before we get further upfield. Shout out to everybody. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. About to have another good one for y'all. So let's get ready to go. All right. So main topic here. What's your opening spiel on this one before we get into pulling up clips and whatnot. Opening spiel, the idea, the notion, if black men need therapy, it's mostly. I like how you put in mostly. That was very generous of you. You could have just went whole hog and blamed them completely when you came up with the title, but you said mostly. If black men need therapy, it's mostly because of black women. Make your opening arguments on that one. Go ahead.
Am I not merciful? Yeah,
You
of
are.
course. Of course, mostly it's mostly that. And all right, so the main idea is this. I was gonna do a stream. I actually, now that I'm back home, because I've been working like all week, it's been crazy. But now that I'm back home and I like opened up my laptop for the first time in a couple of days, I actually had a show queued up about black men needing therapy. And one of the things, it's a huge theme that I see in all of the therapy discussions that I can pull up. And it's basically saying that because of the history of slavery, Jim Crow, and even modern racism and oppression and whatever that's supposed to be, black men in particular, black people in general, but black men in particular, have a special need for mental health services, right? We need therapy, and it's specifically this thing called racial trauma. That's what I was going to kind of focus in on before, this thing called racial trauma. And so the idea, the argument is because of the excess amount of racial trauma that black people and black men in particular suffer through in this country, we need mental health services even more so. It's like an epidemic and a crisis for us. We need it more than anybody else. And I'm looking at this whole thing, and it's like you guys are leaving out the giant elephant in the room. Like you guys are totally ignoring this huge, ugly troll under the bridge. And I don't think you can talk about Black men's mental health honestly and effectively without talking about the relationship that Black men have with Black women. And so from there, I say that the main reason, if at all, a Black man or Black men in general, the main reason Black men might need therapy is mostly Black women. It's mostly because of our relationships to and with Black women that we suffer mental distress, right? Nothing is more mentally frustrating than being a good man to most Black women. And
Ooh,
from
why did you
that level
say?
on,
Hold on, hold on. Why did you say being a good man to them? That implies that it's not. This is where it gets. This is oh shit. Hold on. This is where it gets bad when when the argument turns to not being a good man to them. It's not nearly as stressful, if at all.
that's called winning. No,
Like
no,
that's
shit. I shit you
that
not. I shit you
no
not.
no
When
no.
we
That's go ahead, go ahead.
No, when you've had different guys on who there's this argument, game versus not game. I don't know how to frame it better than that, but there's a sort of dichotomy going on there. And when you've had guys come up who are on the game side of things, I think in the big picture, game is just basically not really being a good guy to women and the traditional blue pill sense of the word. It's actually
Mhm.
doing all the opposite of the blue pill rules, and that's game, and that's how you win with the majority of Black women, right? And it's not Black women. It's game applies across the board, but in this specific context, right? When I say being a good Black man to the majority of Black women is mentally damaging to you, the solution to that is, well, if you was just using game, you would be winning and you wouldn't be taking so much mental suffering. I think it's true, and that's why game sort of has developed. It's a defense mechanism almost. It's like if I be straight
Yeah,
up with y'all, you're gonna savage me. So I will be psychologically more savage than you could ever be, and that's how I win. Game.
yeah. Now the first clip that we got on deck, I think it's about a Black man basically laying out, I would say, the standard run of the mill stuff as reasons as to why Black men need therapy. And I'm sure you would argue that, that quite often misses the mark of what's really going on, where you have to question, are some of these people pretending like they don't know what's going on out on the ground, or are they just you don't know. I don't know. I'll just play this and we'll get your reaction. We'll play the clip, we'll get your reaction. But this is uh, just a guy on, I don't know, I look like TikTok talking about therapy. Let's roll it. Oh, now I don't want to play. It's doing that cycle thing. I don't know if y'all can see that. What in the hell?
Hold up.
Why isn't that? Let me refresh. Let me refresh that. Let me refresh that. All right, here we go.
3 reasons why Black men deserve therapy. Reason number 1, therapy is self-care. Usually our self-care focuses on the exterior, our hair, our outfits, our physical appearance. What's going on in the interior, inside our hearts and our minds, deserves the same quality time and attention. Making therapy a part of your self-care routine is just a part of your commitment to becoming a better you. Reason number 2, our mental health matters. Black people are 10 times more likely to have psychological distress than white people. According to the CDC, suicide is the third and fourth leading cause of death for black male teens and black men 20 to 44, respectively. We don't have to suffer in silence. Therapy is a natural and healthy response to the multiple stressors that come with just trying to be a black man in America. Reason number 3, we deserve the freedom.
Hold on, you want me to do a screen share real quick?
Yeah, you can do a screen share.
Deserve to honor and feel their feelings without fear of punishment or mockery. Black men deserve healing, and that comes when we start doing the hard work.
Yeah, that's wild. Normally it's my internet that's all choppy. Let me see. Let me pull up my other window. Give me 2 seconds here.
But so when he laid out all the reasons why black men need therapy, and he talks about the trauma and trials and tribulations of just being a black man, he didn't mention none of the stuff you mentioned.
No, I don't know what was going on my end. I didn't even realize the clip was playing. I couldn't hear it at all. So that's why I was going to bring it up on my side and play it again. But yeah, that's why I actually wanted to share that clip and start out with that part of the conversation, because that is the typical gist of that's the thrust of their conversation when they talk about black men needing therapy. It's like, oh, the white man got you down, huh? That slavery still kicking your ass, isn't it? It's like, nah, bro, I got 2 kids with this bitch. Like, that's what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? This whole thing about like the white man is a bunch of bullshit.
Do you need? I'm trying to figure out, why wasn't you able to see that or hear that? You couldn't see that on the screen at all. That may be a problem we need to solve.
No, I think that was a problem on my end. I don't think it was your thing. It was something going on my end.
All right, but like right now, as we speak, like right now, you can see that, correct? On the screen?
No, I can't. Nah, I can't. And actually, you know what? I know it's on my end. It's this little device, little cheap tablet I'm using probably.
All right, so you may have to. All right, you may have to play all the clips then. So going forward, yeah, you got to do all the clips, because it can be difficult playing clips if you can't see them. It looked like the audience saw it. RM could see it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm set up.
Yeah. So just get your clips ready. Shout out to everybody in the building, and as y'all can see, RM is posting it in the chat room. The night show that I do, me LAR movement, man bun Mike, that's what we call him now. Mike from Mike and Vince Perkins, man bun Mike, game changer, do the show. We bring on the girls and we debate and talk a lot of shit. Y'all know the deal. Y'all seen those shows. They're going to be more frequent. They're going to be next week. They're going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:45 p.m. EST. Be looking out for those. Typically, they will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:45 p.m. EST. But so that's going to be the schedule next week for the night shows. Definitely be looking out for those. Yeah, man bun Mike. Yeah, that's his name. But yeah, be definitely looking out for those. Set that on your calendar. We'll be getting it in. Make sure y'all sub to Hood Services Backup channel and all of that good stuff. Make sure y'all do that. We're gonna be getting into going forward on this show. On this show here today. The therapist chick, and I haven't done any content on this. I haven't covered it or touched on it at all. It's a recent therapist chick who basically said she's not working with black men anymore. She's not working with black men anymore, and that is an interesting concept. And I think it's interesting because of the reasons that she gave. She's saying that they're asking her to, I don't know, qualify herself. Like they want to have a sit down meeting with her to see if she's, right for them. And it's just weird that she says that I'm above that. You just got to take whatever you get. Put up your money and just take whatever I give you. It's like it was a weird thing going on there. I didn't cover it. I just did a surface level scan of it. So we're about to be getting into that, and we're going to definitely dig deeper into the odds and the ends of Black men needing therapy and why, and whether or not the whole current structure of therapy as it's set up, the current structure of therapy as it's set up, rather not that even rather it even suits any needs that men have. But all right, look like we got something ready to go. I removed that off the screen, the banner that's on the screen. We'll pull that up and see if Hood Service can play this first clip. See if we can get something right up in here. Wait, no, I got it. Oh man, Hood, you down on both of them? Are you there? Mic check.
Hold up.
LB Crypto said Bernard on his Lapeef shit without the ratchet. No. The ratchet is on the table. Don't get that twisted. I like them to come with it. Put it like that. They don't gotta be ratchet. I just like for them to have an argument and stand on it and argue their point. I like a good debate. That's what it's about. I'm not, trying to hold hands and cuddle with no chicks on the internet. No, we know we disagree. Let's have the debate. that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, but Hood Conservative. Oh, the other one. Oh, my bad. There we go. I think we legit now.
Yeah, we good.
All right. So go ahead. What we got here?
All right, this is more evidence, and like I said, I had a whole show of this sort of stuff laid out, and it's just nonstop. There's a clip of a racial healing circle. Hold up, you know what? Actually, we should do that one next. The emotional emancipation circle. That's what we're gonna play next. You know what? Drop this. We don't need this. We got enough strags. I got a better one. Hold up. The emotional emancipation circle. Yeah, bro. Yeah. This is where we at with it.
Yeah, you're getting called boomer conservative in here with you struggling working technology.
Hold up.
I know, man.
You slowing down the offense, man. Get your technology game together.
We're gonna kill him in the second half, Coach. I promise.
Think back and reflect for a moment. When was the first time you realized you were Black?
I think mine was more of like in high school, because I went to school in like a predominantly white area, and they always had like some.
I just wanted to say she's kind of cute. It's a damn shame she retarded though.
Thing to say about the way I spoke, as if it was like the way I spoke was not Black enough for me to be Black. One time I was on the phone with someone and they saw what I looked like and they were like, "Whoa, like that doesn't match."
It's also like what is speaking Black?
Yeah, it kind of
exactly.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show right there, right? I remember like just being a class clown and you ride on the back of the bus. You know, on the back of the bus, right. That's where it goes down. That's where it goes down. It was.
Now, notice these are all things that like Black people impose on each other for the most part, right?
Yep, absolutely. We was talking yesterday about how much is ingrained into the culture to play in the dozens. We was talking about colorism and whatnot, and it was it's nonsense to over analyze it, even though it's kind of what we do. We analyze stuff. We try to break it down to the molecule. But when it comes to the whole you're Black thing, or you don't talk like that, like I expected you to talk, or this or that, or blah 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 blah, it's like, come on, that's that the reason that gets said, even though it may be personally offensive to some, but the reason that gets said is because, one, you understand how a lot of Black people talk. and you understand that you personally, if you're damn near going out your way to not talk like that, to not look like that, to not represent any stereotype, yes, that's good. I commend you for that, and you probably be better off in life because of that. But the fact of the matter is, that don't change the fact that there's a lot of people that are black that also speak like that, to the point to where people have an expectation when they see a black person that they might just talk a little ghetto, or they might just have a black scent, as some people calls it. So I've never, you can't get mad or be tripping about that. But anyway, carry on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man, your mama's so black. Man, your lips so big that everybody said I had big lips. So I would tuck them. I would find a way to try to make my lips smaller.
And how does it feel sharing that?
Well,
Yo, it's wild too, real quick. The title of this whole thing is Emotional Emancipation Circles, right? This is a clip from Vice News. And you need emancipate. When the question was asked, when was the first time you realized you were black? They're talking about stuff that other black kids, probably mostly black girls, have said to them. And what you can kind of extract from that is you need emancipation. You need to be emotionally emancipated from your black experience. That's what you're talking about right now. But you want to blame it on the white man.
Never really thought about it.
Yeah. They have an emotional emancipation circles out here. And my counter, my amateur opinion, I'm just unprofessional. I haven't went to any of the universities to get solidified and certified and all that. But my regular guy's opinion is that we suffer way more psychological damage just from our own internal actions amongst each other as a community. And as far as the men go, the women do the most damage. So let's talk about that shit if you want to have therapy sessions. But how can you talk about that? And this is another reason why I don't really trust the setup and the nature and just the culture of therapy in general. So if you're a man and you have problems that are relatively particular or unique to men, you now want to go lay those problems at the feet of someone who, if you have graduated from the university system over the last 30, 40 years, you more than likely have internalized some element of feminist ideology. And so now, as a man, I am being asked to put my psychological health into the hands of somebody who already sees themselves as my enemy. Like you coming out of the university system, having to adopt certain like feminist ideologies or professional postures or whatever, you now have a worldview that sees me as somehow inherently broken already, on top of whatever it is I may present as a problem. And then when I do present my problems to you, you're not going to fix them in a way that is necessarily dealing with me and my problem directly. You're going to give me the quote the feminist solution to my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, the person that you're going to fix those problems already views you as the problem,
Right.
not in the sense of you taking accountability for your actions, but she views you as the problem in the sense that you're a man, especially if any problems that you have is stem from something going on involving a woman. It's like she's already naturally leaning that way. The best example that I've seen with that is like, when you go to, if you ever went through a custody battle, and you sit down in front of the arbitrator, I explain how that process is, where it's like your ex-wife, y'all are essentially there trying to plead your case to this individual who don't know either one of y'all as to why you deserve to have your kids at least half the, well, I'm pleading why I deserve to have them at least half the time. She's pleading why she deserves to have them, 85% or 90% of the time. And that person sitting across that table if it's baked into the cake of their ideology that men are typically wrong, women are typically right, then then that the person is not going to lean in your way. And I do see therapy pretty much the same way to some degree. But DC in the building says black man should have a male therapist, preferred black male therapist. Absolutely.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah, you can't trust them.
No, I was about to say absolutely 100% agree with that. And real quick, shout out to Stacker Star.
No,
sent the
you
cash
can't
app.
trust
Shout out
them
to Stacker
niggas, bro.
Star.
I'm saying you can't trust them niggas. The male therapists, no, they all cut from the same cloth. That the male therapists are men who have been trained in the female brain. Like that's kind of the problem with it in general. Like, so even when you have male therapists, and I did like this whole Twitter thing that we're about to get into, and I got the clip queued up now. This black therapist who specializes in black people and black men somehow goes on a rant saying that she doesn't want to serve men anymore, and now it's like, oh, why do you guys assume I meant black men? It's because black men are all over your LinkedIn profile and your history or whatever. And so when that happened, there was a call for men to defend her. It's like, oh my God, where are all the male therapists to step up and defend this black woman? And they did. So you can't trust them niggas either. Like, just because he's a male doesn't mean he is on your side. Hell, the reality of the whole blue pill, red pill phenomena kind of dictates that you can't just trust him because he's a guy. Like, he might be a bitch.
All right, let me try pulling it up this way.
Work with males anymore in my private
Do you see that?
Because they activate.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, no, you do see her on the screen, right?
Yeah, I see her now.
Okay, cool. I think I may have made it if I uploaded into the StreamYard. You can see it. For some reason, when I shared it, you couldn't see it. So, all right, let's roll it. Let's roll it.
I say I don't want to work with males anymore in my private practice because they activate my nervous system and I don't feel safe. And their response is to threaten to unalive me by threatening my livelihood, saying that.
Now, what is she talking about right there? She talking about internet trolls?
I can only assume that because people always say that, oh, I got death threats and this and that, and maybe you did, but I don't. Just because somebody left you a ugly message on your voicemail doesn't mean I'm actually to take it as a red level threat. Like it is what it is. You said some fly shit on the internet, and your number is also on the internet too. So do the math.
Yeah, shout out to SKC. What do you think about that? Activate her nervous system.
Yeah. When medical professionals start saying words like that, it's a heightened kind of threat. It's almost like that Snoop Dogg thing when he said something about I forgot who it was. It was like that interview. He said something about Gayle King, and then like Susan Rice, who works for the federal government, chimed in on it. It's like, whoa. Your finger is a little too close to the button to be talking shit amongst the commoners. Like, no, you can't do that kind of stuff, and I'm supposed to just take it kindly. And so for a medical professional to be like, you activate my nervous system. So the next threat is medication, right? You're gonna drug me. That's what you're gonna do next, right? Because I activated your nervous system, and so you're gonna make me take the pills now.
Yeah.
There's groups of y'all that are reporting me to my licensing board because I don't want to work with y'all. Y'all ain't want to work with me anyway. So what y'all talking about? Y'all are reporting me to my licensing board for saying I specialize in working with black women who overcome perfectionism. Did you know that therapists are allowed to have specializations? Did you know that when we are in school, our instructors ask us, what is your target population? Who would you like to work with? Focus on them. Did you know that? It's people leaving me reviews saying that I'm racist, saying that I shouldn't work with black men, saying that when they were my client, they felt this type of way, blah, blah, blah. These folks have never even seen me. I don't
Wait a
know
minute.
these
Was
people.
that an actual
So
client
y'all just sitting up here
testimonial?
lying on me.
Yeah, I was
Hold
wondering about that.
on. Hold on. So you got people calling in was like, hey, I know this woman. She's terrible. And you mad at that too? Like, isn't that how the internet's supposed to work? Like your own people are leaving you like a 2-star review and you calling it like racism and sexism and whatever? Terrible.
Yeah. I was catching that part right there too. Yeah, that she definitely was talking as if people who actually had been with her, worked with her, was leaving reviews. I'm sure there's a lot of people who never saw her, never worked with her, never got therapy from her that's saying all kind of stuff. So I do know that's the thing. Like the internet is wild and crazy. What ends up happening is somebody says something wild and crazy, and the same thing happened with the Shabri Rose. They end up saying something wild and crazy, and then people respond, and then they play the victim. It's like that's pretty much the playbook.
Well, there's two sides to that. Yes, there's the obvious, she's playing the victim and all, but it's deeper than that, right? Because and I think men have a sort of acute awareness that when they say certain things, even in jest, when they're just playing around on the internet, you will get fired for the memes you share. You will get fired for wearing a Hawaiian shirt with girls in hula skirts on it. Like that's a real story. Look it up. An actual like scientist, like some high level brainy guy working at a high power lab somewhere got fired because some girl complained about his hula shirt, and he got fired. So as a man, you are acutely aware that your minor transgressions will get you beheaded in a public square. And so what's happening is a little bit of the revenge game now. It's like, oh, wow. And since I would get fired for being like this, we might as well get this one fired too. And so that's definitely going on here. It's like this whole element of like, oh, we got you. It's the gotcha bitch. It's literally like that right now. And I'm all for it. I support that movement because it's just the way it is now. And so I think she's just she angered that kind of spirit where, like, if a man, imagine a black man saying that he can't offer therapy services to women. The immediate response is like, what the hell is wrong with you? What do you mean you can't offer your services to women?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? They're calling my business line saying they want to slice off my face, they want to unalive me, they want to essay me. I should be. You really think I want to work with men now? No. Then on Twitter, y'all posting a picture of my profile for therapy for black men. Yeah, that's me. But I'm no longer seeing males because of the things that I've said previously. And my profile is still up there because I paid my $20 for the month. I'm waiting on them to stop my subscription. I just made this announcement last week. Y'all gonna give me some time? Where is the energy for the male therapists who only see men? Because I don't see y'all out here acting like this towards them. I encourage.
Now you just spoke on that. Are there well, I guess there would be male therapists that do specialize in men who only see men.
Do
I
they
guess
make
for men,
commercials like no girls allowed? The He-Man, the He-Man woman, no woman's club, whatever. What was that club that Al Bundy had? The No Ma'am Club, or whatever.
no ma'am. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do they do those kinds of things, or do they just go about their business as a quiet professional?
Yeah, I guess that's the distinction. If she would have just posted, "I specialize in giving therapy for women," even if she would have said, "particularly black women for our unique issues that need to be served," I don't think nobody would have said I had a problem. It was it was basically the rhetorical attack on one particular group, and now and as you said, not just one particular group, one particular race and gender of her own race, the opposite gender of her own race. That was pretty much it.
What's the deal with this? I don't know if it's a thing now because this is now the second person who come out like this. And is there a thing going on in therapy, and particularly with Black therapy, where you've got a lot of Black women maybe who seem to think that there is something psychologically wrong with Black men, and they need to fix it? You see, like there's just an issue going. Is there an issue going on here where like Black women who are in that field somehow think there's just something wrong with men in general, or Black men in particular?
Well, I think women in general think something is wrong with men. I mean, Black women in particular think something is wrong with Black men. I think that much is true. I think that much is true, and you can't really get around that one. I think where the rub is coming is that men, and I know they say that shouldn't be using the internet as your therapy source. That is true. Podcasts and I think men have other outlets that serve them nowadays. There's so many there's so much shared information of men that men are given on the internet, and advice that men are given on the internet, and a lot of it is unlicensed, but it's man to man advice. It's man to man talking to each other and working through issues, and a lot of that is going on. And then I think a lot of guys that they end up having to juxtapose that against when they pay a therapist and they go in and they see what they're getting in there. And I think that the men are questioning the I use air quotes, the help that they're getting when they go to therapy, because they're getting other outlets, even though it's a wild shoot 'em up cesspool out on the internet. You very well could stumble into some of the worst advice ever. That is true. But I think men should just shooting it from the hip, just speaking to manhood, is doing a whole hell of a lot more for men than the whole actual therapy profession. And
How
I
about
think
this?
they're getting the Black female therapists are getting kickback and pushback from their clients. I think that's what's going on.
I think the men have sort of quietly begun to agree that even the most like off the wall extreme advice or takes that you get from some random guy on the internet is more useful than anything allegedly profound that you would hear from a trained Black female professional. All right, let's take a perfect example of this. Right, the idea of dirty folks when he come up and he says like women with clothes on, that is a way more useful notion to frame your mental state around than anything your Black female therapist would ever tell you. Cause she's a woman with clothes on. Why the fuck would you listen to her? Like when he says that, it makes sense in a way that it just appeals to you, and it's something that your Black female therapist could never match. And yeah, the internet is becoming a huge threat to just this form of relating to men, of men and women relating to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Now, what I got here, these are the posts. I think she kind of referenced these posts, and hopefully I can see them. Move that banner down. The move that banner down. But it says Legacy Wellness Service Clinic, blah blah blah. It's saying I have a community for Black women and Black non-binary persons, and so many Black men, white men, and bots try to get in. What is the reason? Then over here it says a Black therapist. I specialize in understanding the needs of African American adults and can relate to their experiences. My personal mission to exist. Protect Black women also means protect us from Black men. It's like
Right. You starting to see the problem here, and then let me just go out on a limb and make a very bigoted statement here.
Uh-oh.
You cannot be. I don't think from a political or an ideological standpoint, you have to choose. You cannot serve both sides of this game here. You can't be an ally to the LGBT and an ally to straight black men. You have to pick your allies, and to say that serving one is serving both, or to say that you're a friend to both is lying to both, or at least one side of the game.
Well, let's flesh that out, because I definitely understand and definitely agree with what you're saying. But let's just dig a little deeper. You saying you can't. Okay, so I guess what's the reason why a black woman, I guess in this case, who's doing therapy or for whatever reason, from just a pure social standpoint, says I'm an ally to black men and I'm an ally to the LGBTQ. Why can't somebody hold one of those in one hand and one in the other hand?
All right, again, this is just my untrained roughneck layman's opinion. The views expressed on the Bernard Riley show do not necessarily belong to the host, Bernard Riley himself. Just throw that disclaimer out there.
Okay.
But I believe that women in general, black women in particular, they encourage and support homosexuality in general because it has the overall effect of weakening the product that is masculinity. And their support of homosexuality is in fact a power play for their gender.
Yeah, I see.
So yeah. So that on a fundamental level, I feel like you're making yourself an enemy by befriending that side of the game.
Yeah, that's deep. Let's see. SKC in here says the same reason why the black manosphere can't be an ally to black feminists. The ideologies are opposed. Agreed. Yeah, I was trying to brainstorm how someone could theoretically float in the middle, but the fact of the matter is, if she's giving therapy to straight black men, given what we know about her ideology and the non-binary, whatever she said, yeah, it does lean more towards the strong possibility and probability that she's going to part of the game is to poke away at masculinity, to soften, effeminize. It does seem that way. And I think that's part of the problem that they're running into. Men are holding firm. I hate using all of the red pill terms, but they're holding firm in their masculine frame, so to speak. Hate using all the red pill terminology all the time, but that could be the problem that a lot of black female therapists are having. There's a lot of black men who are perhaps holding firm in their masculine frame, like they know they need some help, but the help that you're offering is not that's not help that a straight masculine man would need or require. And I think that's really where they're bumping heads now. I think they're bumping heads more so because of that.
Just a minute, I don't know why this just occurred to me. I just visualize something psychologically threatening. So like you're in the waiting room to see your therapist, and like it's an empty room, and then like slowly other people start waiting they come into the waiting room to see the same therapist, and you happen to realize like they're all gay black men. And you're going to the same therapist as them. It just presents weird questions at that point, like, what exactly is being fixed here? Like, am I supposed to be like them? Are you trying to make them like me? Like, what's going on here? There's something psychologically just questioning about the whole scenario. So it then becomes, this is why I said, this is another reason why I said you really can't be allies to both sides, right? Because I'm laughing at the chat. Somebody got the running away emoji. No. When I talk about this on my own channel, and this is why I call it it's essentially the anti-life equation, right? That whole all the rainbow culture, the rainbow cult is the anti-life equation, because fundamentally the issues between black men and black women boil down to the pair bonding of the species, right? And from a psychological perspective, men require certain amounts of like order and regimen to function psychologically. And what happens is, when you are somebody who is accepting of that the anti-life equation, what you're also accepting of is breaking down the order and the regimen that is required for the actual pair bonding of the species. So how is somebody who is on the side of the life equation gonna get mental advice from somebody who is on the side of the anti-life equation? You know, I try to frame it in these colorful terms because YouTube and all that, but it's kind of fundamentally that simple in my mind.
Captain Cisco in the building says the real reason LGBTQ is so powerful is because it's fully supported by feminism. They do more or less run parallel. They do more or less run. All right, let's wait, no, I think we already looked at this one. I think we already looked at this one. I think this was the
One
new
of those
millennial
links.
the new millennial culture podcast. New millennial culture network. Did you
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I
roll
skipped
that
that
one?
one. That was the one
Okay,
I
cool.
decided to skip. No, the other
Okay.
link that's left is her original tweet stating why she's not dealing with men anymore. And I just think it's weird how here's the question. Has the entire industry of therapy and mental health and mental wellness and all that, has it in fact been sort of weaponized against men? Because if you go back and start looking at things like I forget what it's called. It's like some national psychological association. The official board that determines what are and are not mental illnesses, they basically are on the borderline of declaring traditional masculinity some type of mental disorder. So you have to ask the question: has the whole field of like mental health and all that been sort of weaponized against men?
That's a fair question. That is a very, very valid question. If they're even flirting with the possibility, if they're even flirting. Well, say that sentence again. You said that they're making like traditional men like with a mental disorder. Say that again. I want to make sure I hear that correctly.
Yeah, I can't think of the actual name of the institute, but there is an agency. It's like the National Psychological Association or something like that. But they sort of determine what goes into the big book of mental disorders, right? And there are conversations. I don't know if it's ever become totally official, but there have certainly been conversations about, like, the fact that toxic masculinity is sort of like a known phrase at this point. The whole conversation about whether or not masculinity or the traditional concepts of masculinity are in fact some kind of psychologically damaging thing. Like, we're on the borderline of being, yeah, the APA, I think we're on the borderline of basically being classified as like mentally deficient or broken or something like that, just for being a regular guy.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. All right. Her original tweets, for those that don't know, I should have put these up on the screen much sooner. Should have put those on the screen much sooner, but her original tweets read, I'm no longer accepting male clients. That could have been worded simply as, I'm focusing my efforts to help the needs of women. That could have been worded that way and no controversy. I'm no longer accepting male clients. They get in my email inbox. When I first read that, I thought they were basically about to be saying that like they trying to holler at her. I thought that's what she was about to be saying, but she said they get in my email inbox and want me to prove why they should choose me as a therapist. Again, I think the reason that that's the case is because these men, and like we said, it's a scatter shot and perhaps even at times a cesspool of information on the internet. And some of it coming from men saying wild, wacky, crazy shit. But I think these men are realizing that an unprofessional, credentialed, just man to man, masculine discussion, information, advice, and just working through shit as a man, talking to a man, a straight man. It's that's that I think some men are realizing that's helping them significantly more than going to the so-called professionals who are trained in certain aspects of the liberal arts or whatever the hell. They're getting more out of, they're getting more just talking to men, just this all this shared information by men. And I think that's why the female therapists, particularly the black female therapists, are starting to lash out, so to speak. They're starting to lash out because men are slowly getting out of the, just go in there, lay on the couch and close their eyes and open their mouth, and whatever she's shoved down their throat, that's what they're taking. I think that's where they're I think that's where she's running into problems. But it goes on to say no scheduled consultations or nothing to see if we are good fit. Like that's just stupid. Any client, anybody should want to know if you're a good fit with the person that you're going to be spending all that money and all that time telling all the deepest, darkest thoughts in the back, or parts of the deep dark stuff about yourself that you don't even fully remember. You're going to be giving all of that to this person. Yeah, you might want to sit down and talk to him. Like that's ridiculous. Says I'm not the one or the two. That's some hood coming out. I'm not the one or the two to prove my worth to anyone. God damn it.
Imagine having a therapist threatening to go off on her clients, though. Like only black female therapy can allow some shit like that. Like I might go off on one of these niggas with a W too, like AWF. What the fuck?
Yeah. We will not work well together because you already trying me. Like, god damn. And I'm not about to go. When I first read this, I didn't know what that AWF meant. I do not speak modern internet. I had no idea what that. I thought that was an acronym. I was like always wanting no. Like I was sitting there trying to figure out what the acronym stood for, but I was like, oh, off on nobody. Goddamn. But anyway, if you're trying me before the therapeutic, how does a sit down meeting to see if y'all a good fit? How's that trying me? How's that trying her? It's like that is crazy. Like this statement right here does call for people to say, like, look, y'all are. This is my thing. Therapists, nurses. There are certain people that deal with the public. They deal with people when they're at their most vulnerable state. It's like the level of empathy that they're supposed to display, at least publicly. Like for those nurses that got fired because they was cracking jokes on the annoying stuff that patients do. And it's like, and I'm no part of cancel culture and getting people fired, but I understand the problem. You're dealing with people at their most vulnerable state. I think you do have to carry yourself with a little more empathy than usual to be posting videos or making tweets going off on patients who basically got to, in the case of nurses, be naked in front of you. People that got to bare their soul in front of you. In the case of fucking therapy, like, yeah, people who in that profession got to have a higher level of empathy. And it's like we're seeing that with, and I'm sure there's other cases, but I'm sure there's other cases, but the ones that make the internet news are of black women just on some fuck that, they operating just like just like on some standard hood chick type shit, when you're supposed to be in the profession that offers the most concern, sympathy, and empathy for the human condition than pretty much any profession. And that's blowing me away that they get confused as to why people are giving them pushback when they go in public with shit like this.
Therapy, for the most part, the way I see it, heals the female brain, maybe, and I don't even know if it makes women better. And I'm only saying that. Actually, you know what? I think now that I think about it, because as the therapeutic industry has grown, women have gotten worse and worse over the years. In fact, it's you could argue that they've just made women worse over the years by sometimes indulging in their fantasies or the way women think about certain things, and then prescribing drugs. God knows women take a lot of what is it, psychotic drugs, antipsychotics, right? Women take a lot of that type of medication, and it's because of their relationship to the whole therapy industry. And so actually, now that I think about it, maybe therapy sucks for women too. But as a concept, I think the way the male brain works, the whole, sit down and just talk about your problems, ultimately doesn't really do it for men. Men, we kind of have an action oriented sort of psychology. We need to actually do something that gives us, even if it's just sort of a psychological tick, we need to feel like we're handling the problem. Talking about it indefinitely doesn't really do it. It'll actually spiral you downward as a man if you just talk indefinitely about something. At a certain point, you need to take an action. You need to take something that, you need to do something that's measurable in the real world. And I don't know that the modern therapy industry really addresses that kind of male need. And that's why all these little masculine cults on the internet pop up. And I use cult loosely, but that's kind of the way it works, right? These, all these little groups of guys get together and they want to work out together. They talk about their problems together. They come up with solutions together. But that's the thing. It's not just talking endlessly in a circle. It's talking about it, getting it off your chest, and then it's like, all right, listen, I heard this problem. We've all kind of experienced this problem, and this is what we've sort of worked out as a solution to the problem, right? And that helps men far more than this whole just come sit on my couch and tell me where how your mom hurt your feelings. That it helps men way more than this shit.
All right, now we do got a little background. Okay, we do got one more to play, and I don't know why you sent me this one. I barely know what this one got to do with anything.
Well, again, the theme being we need therapy because of Black women, right? If Black men need therapy, it's mostly because of Black women, and it's not just that we date you, but we get raised by you too.
Yeah. DC in the building with the mute up. Yeah, mute up. Yeah, DC in the building with the $5 super chat says, you must research your therapist. Look at your therapist's social media platforms or articles published. You should understand the ideology of the therapist. I don't think that's a lot to ask. I don't think that's a lot to ask to know if the person giving you therapy is ideologically similar. I don't think that's a lot to ask. So yeah, definitely. Shout out to who we got in here. Shout out to we got the Standard RLC in the building. Says many Black women therapists got into the profession to address their traumas. They got in the profession to address their traumas. Wow, that's interesting. Many Black female therapists got into the profession to address their traumas and to help other trauma survivors. Yeah, but if you get into the profession to help to address your traumas, I don't know how that floats. I can't make heads or tails of that one. I don't think you should get into the profession to help your problems. No. Go if you need some therapy, go get some therapy. But you don't say I need therapy, therefore I'm going to be a therapist. If you understand what I mean.
You to loan me $10. I know you got $10.
Yeah, I got it. You know why I got it? Because I don't throw my money away on them streets.
Appreciate the $10 super chat. He says to help other trauma survivors. Many are single. They never cared about men. Yeah, there's a hole that needs to be filled as far as men getting the help that they need. There's a hole that needs to be filled as far as men getting the help that they need. So we about to play this last
Hey Bernard,
clip.
hold on real quick. You know that whole that like I guess it's a joke, but maybe there's some truth to it. But this whole thing about the guys who got bullied in school, they want to go be cops when they get older. What if women go into therapy for similar reasons?
Okay. Okay, I heard somebody say this. They said that they want a job to where they could be in position to essentially ruin somebody's life. I heard a woman say this. Yeah, it was a black woman. And yeah, she said that. And I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I couldn't make it make sense. But I was like, what are you talking about? But the job, the type, like what she gave is like for example, like, the person who, like the health inspector, somebody goes into the restaurant and they got this person's livelihood in the palm of their hand. This person got all their whole life savings. Life, every ounce of their being is tied into this restaurant. And she wanted to be the person who could walk in there and end you at any moment. So there's a psychology out there. There's a person who has a certain mind to where they want to be in position to control and bully people. Now, yeah, it manifests as somebody becoming a cop on the male end. But on the female end, I think it manifests itself in that type of way. And the person that I'm talking about was a bully in other aspects of their life. Get out of there. The outspoken introvert. I like that name, by the way. The outspoken introvert said, HR folks, them HR chicks. Get out of there. But yeah, so you might be onto something. I didn't know. I didn't think therapy was scratching that itch. But
when you said the outspoken introvert, he also says "Deliver Us from Eva." Right now, that is a movie starring. And then at that time, I used to have a crush on her. I thought she was so cute, Gabrielle Union.
No, she lost cuteness after that movie to me.
I mean, if I'd have known then what I knew now, I would have never gave her no points. Like, nah, I don't care. You ugly. Like now, I'll psychologically, I have to put the ugly glasses on every time I look at her because it's just like, bro, she's so evil. Never trust a big button to smile. That girl is poison. You know what I mean? You got to think on those terms when it comes to a woman like that. And this is where I'm going with this too. So in that movie, that was Gabrielle Union, right? Now we see what's going on with Gabrielle and Dwayne and the newly birthed Zaya Wade. Like they totally killed the son that he used to have. Like that's why they call it dead naming, because he's dead now. And Zaya Wade has come to take the place of the former son of Dwayne Wade.
Wait, they call it dead. They call it dead naming for real. That's the thing.
Yeah, if you use the old name, that's their dead name. And so I'm like, well, if that's a dead name, then the person is dead too. You killed that boy. So this girl, quote unquote, big ass air quotes, this girl could live. You killed that boy so this girl could live. I mean, ain't that some communitized shit for you right there? Just when I talk about sacrificing niggas, like they got a culture of sacrificing niggas. Like this is a literal example of it. It's a very sick, twisted, far extreme version example of it, but it is an example of how the cult of sacrifice works in the community. You killed that boy off so this girl could live. And I'm looking at, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people look at Gabrielle Union as the mastermind of this whole situation, right? And what I did not know about Gabrielle Union at first, and what I know now, is Gabrielle is a survivor of some sort of sexual attack. I don't know exactly what happened to her. I'm assuming it was something horrible, but she was a survivor of something really, really horrible. And so now, in my mind, I'm like, so you have a person who gets to take their victimhood and weaponize it against the quote male body that attacked her before. And she now has a chance to take this male body and make it into such a way that it could probably never harm another woman the way she was harmed. Very psychological when you think about it. It's dark and twisted. It's very deep, dark and twisted. And I am no Sigmund Freud, but I think there's a there. I think there's smoke and fire there.
Yeah, that was deep, dark, and twisted. That was no doubt deep, dark, and twisted. But all right, let's shout out to Snuggles in the building. Says, play my music for the therapy session that everyone needs. Good to see you young fools doing what is needed to be done. I am proud of you all. Thank you, Snuggles, for your
Hi, I'm Snuggle. Snuggly softness. That's really less expensive.
Yeah, thank you, Snuggles. We needed that. We needed that. All right, RM, you could drop the link in the chat. We about to play this last clip right here. That's seemingly unconnected, but we gonna talk about it. But let's roll it. Let's roll it. Hold on, real quick, and I just want to point out, I watched the first 2 or 3 times I watched this, I didn't even see what happened because I was looking at the wrong thing. I thought it was something involving the boy, so it was like a misdirection.
That's because she good. My mama good.
Let's break bad. We're in the clear.
All right. I got to first point out the level of skill of the girl. She knew to move it inch by inch. You know, move it a little, then a little bit more, then a little bit more, and then now take it. Instead of just one clean swipe that would have made more noise. She's good. Been trained well. Go ahead. What you got on this one? The link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up and give their take on this subject? Black men need therapy, but mostly because of Black women. You can come up and give your take on this topic. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. Keep all of that coming. And go ahead, Conservative. What you got on this? And you're muted.
No, I was thinking that in a military sense, you call that testing the perimeter. She was taking a couple of jabs to make sure there was no real defense in that area of the perimeter. And once the coast was clear, she went in, went out, in and out like a robbery. It was a robbery, and maybe that's where the phrase "in and out like a robbery" came from. Somebody's Black mom. Like that's literally who taught you how to get in and out like a robbery, your mama. And the reason why I added this to the end of the show is if you notice, like the youngest member of this female tribe is a boy. And I'm just saying that boy gonna need therapy when he get older. That boy definitely gonna need therapy. Like, I wonder if Dr. Umar can fix him. You think Dr. Umar can fix that little nigga when he get older?
I'll go even darker than that. Him needing therapy. No, all the crimes that the mom is teaching the daughters to do, it probably will be little small smack on the wrist crimes where they will do, may get in a little trouble, with the law. But when that boy get old enough, when he get ready, she gonna have him doing the real shit. She gonna have him doing, 20 years in prison type of shit. She gonna that's the mom that don't mind raising the dope boy, not just the nickel bag king. Like that's the mom that want to raise the boy who he not gonna get the family out the hood because they're gonna stay in the hood, but he gonna be bringing in money like it ain't like they not in the hood. He gonna be doing stuff that's gonna risk his life. He gonna be raised and trained because she's raising the daughters to do little small petty crimes. When that boy get of age, he gonna be getting raised to do the big shit, to do the real shit, do the heavy shit. So it's gonna be bigger and deeper than him needing therapy.
Hey,
if he make it out alive, he won't need therapy. I mean, if you
Look,
make it out
look.
alive, therapy may be on the table. If you make it past the age of 30, 35, therapy will be on the table. If he ain't
Here's a
locked up by then.
conversation. Here's a conversation I can see happening. Your big sister was stealing purses when she was 12. You should at least be robbing banks or something. Like, damn, you 16 and you ain't do nothing. You keep coming to me for money. I'm telling you, it's gonna be shit like that. Like, I raised you better than this. Why you broke?
Yeah.
You remember that season of The Wire when it was about all the little kids? It was like 4 or 5 little boys, and one of those boys, his dad was actually like a somebody in like some organization. His dad got locked up or whatever. So now his mom was putting him out on the street to hustle. His mom was like, "Look, nigga, you gonna go sell his crack? Like, I need a new bag, little nigga." Like, did you catch that? That was like one of the sickest episodes ever. Like that storyline, like that little nugget of a storyline, just him and his mom. Like that nigga mom really put him out there on the strip to hustle. And he was like, "I don't want to sell no crack, mama."
Oh damn. No, see, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the
Nah,
Wire.
that last line I totally made up, but that's how it was though. He ain't want to go.
Yeah, I still didn't watch The Wire. My black card been revoked for that, but but yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
That's what happened, man, and that's how it be though. Like, yo, somebody got to make this money. You the man of the house, ain't you? You gonna let her be you gonna let your big sister be the man of the house? Like that's how the pressure game work, you know?
Yeah. Sir Tyson in the building with a $10 super chat that says, apparently it's because of trauma and chattel slavery that forced her to get her children to do that. Shaking my head. Hashtag separation here, separation now, separation forever. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that.
Should have loaned me $10. I know you got $10.
Yeah, I got it. You know why I got it? Because I don't throw my money away on them streets.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yo, rest in peace to Lance Reddick. That was actually the kid I'm talking about. He got adopted by a cop who realized the situation he was in. And it was like a whole showdown with the kid and his mom, and his dad gave the approval. From jail, his dad was like, let the little nigga go or whatever. And he got adopted by a black cop who was the late Lance Reddick. He just died like yesterday, I believe.
All right. Mr. Tolbert in the building just put 5 on it. He said, just like Mary J. Blige in Power 2, she's the head and her kids do the work. Yeah. Didn't see Power 2 either, but I feel bad for that boy. Those girls will make it out unscathed. Well, not unscathed, but they ain't gonna do 25 to life.
I mean, they're gonna raise their kids for like 18 years, that max. That nothing like 25 to life. Like that's all. That's the worst you're gonna have to do is probably raise more kids than you thought you wanted. That's it. Tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
the ones you didn't abort, by the way.
boy. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat for those of you that want to come up and be a part of this conversation. The link is in the chat room. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Sir Tice came back through with another one. Says, "Rip Lance Reddick died suddenly." Smirk. Oh my goodness, that died suddenly. Yeah, Nate sent me that documentary or video or whatever that was. Yeah.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Whole nother topic. But
yeah, that's one of the reasons I got a strike, man. That whole area radioactive. You got to back out of that shit.
Yeah, what do you be getting your strikes? Normally, what do you be getting them for? Because I never get strikes, even though we do cover some controversial stuff over here. But sometimes YouTube just don't like certain people. What do you be getting your strikes for?
Some of the most random things that seem innocuous. Like I got strikes for videos that were months old at this point. So on my backup channel, that's now This Week in Oppression, I got a strike because Ron DeSantis down in Florida, and he's got this like what's it called, the Florida Surgeon General. I forgot his name. He's like this black guy. Like he's got a weird foreign name, but he's got this black dude as a Surgeon General down there, and they did a press conference about let's just say weird things that happened after taking that procedure that so many people were coaxed into taking, right? And so I covered his press conference. So this is an actual state official doing an actual official press conference about a major event that took place in the country. And I covered that, and I did, my commentary and all that, playing the clips and whatever. And like I said, I tried to get monetization, and it's weird now. On both channels, I got a strike for that video on my other channel, and then on my main channel, I forgot what they struck me for on my main channel. It was something that was also bullshit. I forgot what it was, but it was an old video. I don't even remember. But I get strikes for just stuff I couldn't even imagine why. Sometimes it's like, bro, he put this. All the clips I played are clips from like YouTube of Ron DeSantis. Like this is like it's not like I just pull some random stuff that was like shocking video, but they told me I can't play anything that goes against the WHO narrative. Like literally, that was the email I got. I can't play anything that goes against the storyline of the WHO. I was like, wow, that's dark.
Interesting. So because it looks like nobody is coming up, I'm about to hit you with something unexpected that I don't know if you have seen this, but I'm going to throw it in your lap right when I find it. Okay, here it is. Give me 1 second. I'm going to throw this one right at you. I when I first saw this, I was like, oh shit, me and Hood Server is going to propose this one as a show. And I normally say I want to do a show, or I would have been tempted to reject it, even though I normally just go with it. Remember when I was saying I don't want to do a show on no gay shit? That's what I call it when you be calling out the LGBTQ agenda and whatnot. I'd be like, man, don't bring that gay shit over here. But anyway, I probably need to quit saying that. But anyway, we already
it's the anti-life equation, brother. It is the anti-life equation, and I understand why people want to avoid the anti-life equation.
But well, I guess we got to get deep into the anti-life equation, because I don't know if it was Nate or somebody sent me this. It may have been Tice. I don't know. Somebody sent me this. But have you heard about the gay BCs? Gay BCs, not ABCs. The gay BCs.
Oh, that's an old book. I did a video. Yeah, I did a video on that months and months, probably over a year ago by now. That's kind of an old thing.
This is new to me.
There was a clip of some lady, a white lady. It's a very white phenomenon going on with all this like promoting and propagandizing of this stuff. But there was a clip of this lady where her little boy, and they were like saying the gay BCs, and they had like the song. I don't want to say there was a song, but there was like A is for ally and B is for bisexual, and C is for like, I don't know, climax or something. It was a lot of very, very innuendo-ish kind of stuff going on.
No, hold on. The one I got wasn't that bad. The one that I'm about to play. See, they weren't talking about climax. They was talking about some stuff that, as they said, it was targeted for like 4th grade and under, 3rd grade and under. They was saying some stuff that shouldn't be for kids that young, but they didn't say C is for climax. It was for but we don't know.
I freestyled that last part,
okay,
but
yeah,
you get the shocking nature of it.
Yeah. I'm glad you made that part up, because that's just a whole nother level of bad. It's a whole nother level of bad right there. But let me play a little bit of this so that people can just see where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about here.
And there's a lot of different kinds of books. And then this book pops up. And I said, this has to be a joke. No, it's a real book. What's the title of the book? This is the title of the book. If you can zoom into
the gay BCs.
No, if you can zoom in, by the way. Rob, you're laughing. And I part of it could be funny. The website is called queerbooks.com. Okay. And this is a real book. So I bought it. I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this. The gay BCs. Let's go through it together.
B. Oh, sorry about that.
Well, let's take a look. So here's what A is for, is that ally, a friend who is there to stand up for you with strength, love, and care. I like that.
Yeah.
B is for bi.
Oh.
You can shout it out loud. I like boys and girls, and that makes me proud.
What ages is this for? Does
Wait,
it say
hold on,
at the
let me
beginning of
back
the
up,
book?
I couldn't hear it.
For bi.
I was stalking somebody's YouTube channel. When somebody come in my chat room and I could tell they got a channel, I normally type in their stuff that Miss T with the T. I had to look at. I just checked the channel to see how many subs she got, just being nosy. And
I told you that's the book, though. You see that's exactly what I was talking about.
Her shit was loud as hell, and I couldn't hear what was going on here. But this is the same book.
Up for you with strength, love, and care. I like that. For books.com. Okay. And this is a real book. So I bought it. I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this. The gay BCs. Let's go through it together.
B. Oh, sorry about that.
Well, let's take a look. So here's what A is for, is that ally, a friend who is there to stand up for you with strength, love, and care. I like that.
Yeah.
B is for bi.
Oh.
You can shout it out loud. I like boys and girls, and that makes me proud.
What ages is this for? Does it say at the beginning of the book?
What do you mean what ages? It's like you're not
It's a
reading
kid's
this
book.
at 18 years old. This is a kid's book. This has got to be.
The author is M.
He kind of went off on him. Like it's about the AB. It's for people who don't know the ABCs yet, nigga. Like, don't ask me that dumbass question. What age is it for?
That's how white folk go off on each other. Very, very polite.
For people that can't read, motherfucker. He did go off on him. Oh man, that's funny.
ML Webb. Who's
I actually want to go through this to see.
On Amazon, it says the grade level is preschool through 3rd grade.
Yeah, this is exactly where I was going with this.
Okay.
The Don't Say Gay bill specifically targets people 3rd grade and under. Do not talk about that stuff.
So basically, congressman, basically.
C is for coming out. You're ready to share what you feel.
Okay, climax. You said C is for climax. They say C is for coming out. You weren't that far off, I guess. I don't know, but all right.
Deep inside, it's okay to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
D is for drag. You can strut, and by the way, this is not a joke. This is a book. You can strut and dance in clothes that you have, dresses, heels, and pants. E is for equality. We're on the same team. We all have the right to love, hope, and dream. F is for family, related or found. They'll stick to by your side, ups and down. Good. G is for gay. It's a word that implies that you're a girl who likes girls or a guy who likes guys. H is for hope. Dream up a life you love. Sky's the limit. And by the way, intersex is I. J is for joy. Key is for Kiki.
Kiki.
Kiki, do you love me?
What the hell is that for? How does that got anything to do with anything? No, they didn't say kinky. They didn't say kinky. I'm pretty sure they didn't say kinky. But all right, we got somebody else on the panel, so let's go ahead and open it up. Let's open things up. We got Dre in the building.
It's something I want to put you on to. I don't know if you ever heard of this because like SKC, we sometimes like deep dive into some black culture shit, and I think I put this. I think I showed SKC this thing, and then he kind of like found some stuff that I didn't even know about, and it's hilarious. But this is one of the things that we got for kids going on right now. It's totally not like none of the rainbow stuff. But oh shit, I forgot I'm not even in the back chat no more. Give me a second. I got to get back in the back
Trying to
chat.
pull something up. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
give me
While
1
we wait
minute.
for you to pull that up, yeah, I'll go ahead and talk to Dre. You got your camera on, but it's like up at the ceiling. Like I don't know if you can tilt that. Well, yeah, tilt it a little bit.
Is
I
it
guess,
better?
yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. What up?
All right. So what's up? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I haven't been on your show for a while. So, I'm in the UK.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
Yeah, I used to come on your show. Disappeared for a bit. I was listening to Huge Conservative make some very good points about, female therapists and men going to female therapists. Because for me, therapy in America is the equivalent of antidepressants in the UK, right? I think there seems to be like an epidemic of therapy in America where somebody has an issue, go to therapy. Oh, I've got an issue with my woman, go to therapy. Whereas in the UK, a couple of years ago, people were prescribed antidepressants en masse, basically. You have an issue, a relationship issue, a financial issue, or anything of that sort, you get prescribed antidepressants. And I think the problem with men going to see female therapists is that it's akin to taking dating advice from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
They have absolutely no clue about the realities and the struggles of a man and the masculine problems we face. So for me, it's a complete waste of time and it's a pointless endeavor for a man to get involved in therapy, let alone subject yourself to a female therapist. So I totally agree with you on that. And I think, what tends to happen is these men tend to be feminized quite a lot because you're practically taking advice from somebody who, first of all, is female, has processed information very differently. As well trained as she is, she's not going to be able to give you practical advice that's going to allow you to shake yourself out of the situation that you're in. Now, I'm not arguing that men should not contemplate therapy. I think it depends on the reason why you need to go into therapy. So whether it's because of a financial issue, a relationship issue, a mental issue, a family issue, etc. But I think if you're going to do it, you have to give it serious consideration and definitely think twice about seeing a female therapist.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Do you think that the men who are the men, like, in this modern time with a lot of shared information given out from man to man, on the internet, a lot of unlicensed, unprofessional, but just pure male masculine advice and sharing of information, do you think that that's turning into a viable substitute for men going to therapy to work things out through therapy, that men basically, being in online groups, so to speak? Do you think that's a viable substitute?
So you mean taking online advice, listening to coaching channels, etc.
Coaching channels, podcasts, is anything when men are just speaking up for men, talking from a male's perspective, a masculine perspective, and and they have discussions where they talk about these things and work and sort of work certain things out. Do you think that's can be that's better than the standard, the already operating standard of just going to therapy and having this licensed professional who ideologically may be completely different and don't see or perceive the world nothing like you? Do you think a viable substitute is men just congregating amongst themselves in an online spaces having these conversations?
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. But for me, it's a bit like a false dichotomy, because it suggests that either therapy or getting advice in a forum or coaching is the alternatives. But I think whichever option you choose, you're still going to have to do some work in between.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the latter, us men talking on forums about masculine issues is more likely to resonate with you as a man, because we're sharing our lived experience and our practical experience, than say speaking to a therapy who you don't know, especially if that's a woman. She's going to give you a lot of feminized bullshit. And in the end, inevitably, you'd still have to go away and put that into practice. So whilst I don't necessarily agree that it could be a substitute, talking online to people, etc., I think that's more likely to resonate with you and actually give you a much more practical way forward in whatever issues we're dealing with. If we're talking about money issues or financial issues and we're discussing it as men, and the challenges we faced and how we've overcome it, I cannot see any conceivable situation where a therapist can sit down with you and tell you this is how you go about digging yourself out of that financial hellhole that you found yourself in. So, yeah,
that's actually kind of how I look at it too. Like there's a sort of practical application that you can absorb. You can apply from the things you absorb when you in like the manosphere, as opposed to the whole sitting on the couch talking about your feelings. Like I was saying before, that whole process doesn't seem to get at why you are in this particular slump as a man. And I think even on a fundamental level, it just doesn't speak to men in our language. It just doesn't really get to what the way men work. That's why I said therapy, honestly, in my opinion, is a very like feminine approach to things. I think the masculine approach to things is sort of like the problem solution kind of path, where you figure out what the problem is, you acquire information about the problem, you gather that information to formulate a solution, and then you apply the solution. And for men, that's not quite the same setup that you get from therapy. And I think the manosphere kind of goes in that direction of, okay, so these are the problems. We'll have conversations about what the problems are, and then there'll be a little bit slightly higher level conversations about what we should learn and take from these problems, the observations around these problems. And then we'll have even higher level conversations about, all right, these are the problems, this is what we know, this is what you do now to protect yourself, to win in these scenarios. This is how groups form, the Passport Bros and SYSBM. These are guys who've kind of analyzed the game and looked at the problem and the landscape and all the little ancillary details and figured out, all right, well, this is the best strategy overall to deal with that kind of environment, that type of game in that environment. And then guys say, all right, now it's up to you whether you want to go do it or not. And you don't necessarily get that kind of problem solution thing from therapy. It seems like from what you get from therapy, it seems like is more blue and purple haired people who don't know what their gender is, and maybe they want to cut off a body part to fulfill their genderhood dreams. Like that's kind of the visible product of therapy at this point. Whereas like the visible product of the manosphere is like guys who go to other countries to get women, or guys who learn to get women in this country, or guys who just don't care about getting women. They figure out how to be better at life in some other ways. Like it's just a visibly better product.
Yeah, I am Jules in the building to find out super chat. The APA, real quick, good service pop quiz. You know what that stands for?
I think in the chat when I was talking about the Psychological Association, that's what they mean, like the American Psychological Association.
I think so. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, the APA, we tentatively believe is American Psychological Association, in the I don't know what that one is. NASW are contributors to the DSM. I do know what that is, even though I can't even. That's the damn, David Carroll used to talk about that. The DSM.
That's the big book of psychological disorders.
Yeah. The DSM. He says they've had practice working on the human mind for over 100 years. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. And Sir Tice in the building with another one came through, dropped $2 on it. Says, where Counselor Murray when you need him? LOL. Yeah, I got to get back in touch with Counselor Murray. I still might have his email.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Yep. I actually see him. He comes through here and there. But no, it's been a minute since I talked to Counselor Murray. But
here's another question too, because like you mentioned Counselor Murray, and I won't I won't pretend that there are no professionals who operate in totally good faith or whatever like that, but I question whether or not the nature of the whole institute of like psychology and therapy and whatnot, is it even properly set up to address the issues that a place like the Manosphere kind of puts on the forefront? Because when you look at somebody like Tia San Johnson, and there are a couple other professionals in academia who are kind of in and around these spaces, but when you look at somebody like Tia San Johnson, what he talks about is how just the very spirit of academia is kind of anti-male in ways that it doesn't even necessarily acknowledge, and then in other ways it acknowledges totally and feels justified. And so I would argue that same spirit has also moved to the psychological field and therapy and all that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Miss T with the T. Says, I just want to hear my 5 on it song before I go. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. All right. Link is in the chat. Anybody want to come on up and participate in this stream? As I stated earlier, the night shows will be in effect. Trying to move the banners down. But next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:45 p.m. EST, we'll be doing night shows. The morning shows will still go on as normal. It will just be added bonus content. And I'm dropping some Patreon exclusive content. I already recorded it last night, so that will be dropping on my Patreon. I'm about to actually start trying to grow my Patreon for real. I've made many attempts at that. I'm sticking to it this time. So I did so y'all will see what will be on there. Some of the stuff that'll be on the Patreon will be stuff that I really don't care to talk about on YouTube. Some of it will be normal stuff. Some of it will be more touchy, controversial stuff. But at least once a day, I'm gonna just pre-record something. Sometimes it'll be a reaction to something that I don't care to react to and put on YouTube. So that's what's going to be going on the Patreon end. So make sure you check out the Patreon end. Actually, right when we get off the air, you'll be probably seeing the first drop and rendition of that. It'll be fresh new Patreon content, but definitely be looking out next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the night shows when we got a Man Bun Mike, LAR, Game Changer, and some ladies on a panel debating various topics. That's what will be going down on the night shows. We'll be starting at 7:45, 8 p.m. if it's on CP time. Y'all know the deal. But all right. Shout out to everybody. We went round and round on this topic. I think we almost at the 2-hour mark. We almost in a place to wrap this up. Y'all got any final closing words, closing thoughts on this topic? Any final words or closing thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, Bernard, I want to say something about what Hood Conservative said earlier about was waiting for you to wrap up the super chats because obviously that's important. But I think what this space does, and is very underestimated, is that a lot of the discussions and conversations and theories that get pushed in this space is a lot of it is not new, right? But what it serves a very important purpose in that it allows people to connect the dots. And I think that's quite important. You know, some of this information has sat with a lot of us for years, but coming together in this space allows people to say, okay, this is why. But more importantly, it's coming from a space where somebody has actually lived that experience. So if I've ever been fired from my job before, or I managed to leverage my finances against some investment and did very well, and I'm sharing that information in this space, and that's all practical, other men are going to look at it and, you know, relate to me in a way that, say, if a therapist was offering that kind of advice, it would largely be theoretical, and it would not come from a practical standpoint. So guess what I'm trying to say is that this space serves an important purpose and allows people to connect the dots. And I think that's quite important, because you have a lot of information sitting in your head, whatever you're going through, whether you're considering therapy, etc. All you're trying to do is dig yourself out and connect that information in a way that works for you. And I think that's something that this space unequivocally is effective in achieving that a therapist or a therapist session could not achieve. And the other danger as well is that therapists can be addictive. Therapy can be addictive. People get stuck in therapy for years with no solutions. So that's something that anybody considering the idea of going to speak to a total stranger about your problems, understand that there's an addictive element to it, and you might end up paying for years and years and years. I know people have been in therapy for years and with no realistic outcome still. So yeah, that's what I was going to say.
All right, good stuff. Hood server, you look like you had something set up. You was about to play.
Oh yeah, I called the audible real quick. It's something I wanted to, since we're gonna close out, I wanted to get your opinion on this video real quick, because this is hilarious in my mind. This is so deep. But if you share, yeah, thank you. This is I guess some kind of couple getting up, telling a little story. She looked a little bit pregnant too, and this is just one of them black love stories that people will analyze and pick apart for a while.
And we were doing like the whole like secret dating thing. I was there for him in every way possible financially. I was in every way possible financially. I was there for him in every way possible financially. I was just managing or working at Nordstrom, and we was both living off that check. He would take my car, my little accent, and drop me off at work, and be rolling in my car. I was waiting at the job for him to come pick me up. He'd be late. Like,
I'm sorry, I got the car clean. Got it clean. Honey.
All of that, and through the whole, like, once we got engaged, once we got back together after he dumped me. Ooh, not like that. We got back together, and he knew when we got back together that he was going to propose. And
now we were talking earlier about like game. And basically, if you wanna win, you can't really be a good person to them. No, that's not how you win. That's not how you get the ring and the baby. Being a good man and being responsible, and no, listen, borrow the car. Come back when you get ready. Bring that shit back when it's like on E too. Ask her for some gas money. You know she got it. She just got off for work. Of course she got money.
That was a terrible story. everything that she sat there and told like it was cute was stuff that was absolutely embarrassing. Like that's the stuff that you gloss over on, like yeah, we went through some hard times and some struggles together and we made it through it. Now you don't go into the details of in front of everybody at some formal dinner about how he was a bum and you was taking care of him. But on his end, for the bums out there, that's a win. That's a win. You got a woman proud before everybody saying, hey, yeah, I took good care of him, and yeah, everything was wonderful. Went right to
I mean, she just described a pookie.
And they dapping it up. Look at them, they dapping it up too. Look at her face. She's like, yeah. He took my car. He couldn't even pick me up for work. And he like, I had to go do my thing, nigga.
But conservative. She just described a pookie.
That's her boo, bro.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Hey, that's who she loves, man.
Yeah.
Look at how happy she looked. She got that pregnancy glow and everything. That's all she ever wanted. She was like the manager at like a Nordstrom. That's technically not a bad job.
Okay.
And she got the nigga that made her feel complete.
So hang on a minute. The story that she just told, she's describing the man that she's sitting next to.
Yeah, bro, look at him. That's why they dapping it up right now. She is giving him all his pookie. Bernard, didn't I tell you, shout out to the ain't shit niggas, bro. It's about time ain't shit niggas got they shine, bro. Everybody acting like ain't shit niggas are the bad guy. Who's the bad guy if everybody's happy?
Right. Right. No doubt. But all right, we about to wrap this on up and get the hell up on out of here. I'd like to formally thank everybody who came through, supported the stream in any way, shape, or perform. Shout out to Stacker Star coming through on the Cash App end. Shout out to everybody who super chatted, everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, did anything to support the stream in any way. Appreciate each and every one of you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Why is that still there? That should be dropped down. Oh, gotta remove it. Okay. All right. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.